I'll be up in a moment, y'all. My camera does not want to work for some reason, so one moment. All right, here we are. All right, guys. Today's stream is talking about Blue Christmas, and everything that we see right now is framed as the most wonderful time of the year, right? That this is supposed to be a time where everyone's happy, where everyone is coming together, supposed to feel the holiday spirit. We are supposed to forget about our troubles for a while and come together and feel this high of life, right? And for those of us that have that, or for the people that have that, I'm always happy that you get to experience that. But for some of us, we haven't experienced all of that in a long time, or maybe ever, right? For some of us, excuse me, for some of us, this may be the first Christmas that the joy of the season didn't reach them, or maybe they've been going through this for a long time. But for a lot of people, this time of year isn't as happy and joyous as I'd like to pretend it is for everybody. And some people would say, oh, we're not looking at the silver lining, or you just need more, the right Christmas song, be around the right people, right mood, right party to get the Christmas spirit. But unfortunately, that's not true for everybody. some of us, and we see and hear talks about families coming together, and for those that are experiencing Blue Christmas, maybe their family's been split, or their family is the reason for their trouble or for their trauma, right? And maybe seeing all the family focus reminds them about the family that they don't have or never had, and the family they lost. For some, it's a time of grief. For some, may have lost someone recently, or this is the anniversary of losing someone that they care about. So this time of year, I'm sure most people understand how it can be difficult, but it doesn't make it easier. Having been through this to varying degrees throughout my life, it's just hard. It's just hard. And I think if more people were not just aware of it, but we're accommodating for it, that would make it a lot easier on people. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 10 tips. That's going to be the main focus, 10 tips to make a Blue Christmas okay. It's not to make a Blue Christmas all of a sudden the happiest experience of your life. It's to learn how to get through it. And I think for those that don't experience it, this can help them understand what people are going through and help you help people that are experiencing this and have some compassion and sympathy and empathy for it. For some people, this time of year, they might not have people to spend it with. They might have a mental or physical illness that makes it so they can't feel or experience it just like everybody else, right? I talked last week about these kind of different realms of existence, how some people are in the gray, and some people are in the shadow, some people are in the dark forest. And when you're in those places, you can't feel or see the world the same way everyone else does. And a big part of this video is talking about how that's okay. It needs to be okay. It should be okay. This is, in some ways, just, the Christmas season, holiday season. It signifies, it's a symbol for things like coming together, but in another way, it is just another day, right? Where we're making choices to do those things. We're making choices to be generous, be happier, and be more sharing, be more caring. And for some people, especially in the negative, darker side, every day is the same, and every day is painful, and every day is hard. So when you have these ups and downs of the seasons, it's hard to connect with that when everyone else is like, okay, now it's time to enjoy life so much. And if you identify with what I'm talking about, instead of the dream of a white, red, and green Christmas, it's blue, and that's okay. It's not a fun place to be, but it's okay. And you're not alone in that. And I imagine that more people than you think, even around you that are experiencing something similar. So I'm glad you're here. If that is you, I'm glad you're watching this. We're going to talk about how to get through the holidays and get through, whether it be time on your own, get to the season in general, or just that day when you're with your family. So let's kind of get into it. I wanted to start with reading a quote that I've always connected with. It's from one of my favorite TV shows, Dexter. And he is in a bar with his enemy, not to spoil much, and they both recognize themselves as outsiders, right? They're not the norm. They're not like everyone else around them. And the other character, Isaac Serco, says this: "We are outsiders, you and I, on the periphery, watching everybody else, pretending we're just like them, but knowing we're not. The best we can hope for is to find a place where we don't have to pretend." And I remember when I first saw that episode, I cried a lot. Honestly, I get teary-eyed every year. I rewatch Dexter like once every year or so, and every time that scene comes up, it makes me cry, because it identified with that so much, especially in the hardest moments of dealing with mental illness. Just that wishing you didn't have to pretend to be okay, and wishing you were around people that understood, wishing you could have a group of people to spend time with where you didn't have to pretend to be anything but what you were, be it happy or be it sad, and I think that's something that reflects what a lot of people want around this time of year, right? They don't want to have to pretend to be like everybody else and be okay. And again, this video is to, one, help people allow themselves to do that, to not pretend and just be themselves, even if they are in a blue place. And then also to have people that are around those having a blue Christmas to help them be okay with it too, and give them the space to not have to pretend, So yeah. So if you're having a blue Christmas, this one's mostly for you. I think the big takeaway is that I want you to be able to acknowledge your feelings, accept your feelings, and be able to find or create your own sliver of peace and joy in this time of year. And it might not look the same as everyone else, but it's something, and it matters, and it's important. So let's get into all the tips we have. All right. So the first one on this list is to be present, right? So it's hard to be around all the cheer and everything when you're in a dark place and your mind goes to these darker places. So if you find your mind starting to wander, it helps to engage in something that you can be present with and focused on. It can be really difficult when you have constant reminders of your struggles, and seeing other people's joy reminds you that you lack it. But it helps to find an activity, find a person you could talk to, find something you can get away from everything and just be very present. It helps to enjoy the small moments and appreciate them as much as you can. So thinking back to some of my hardest times, some of the things I would hold on to was like a nostalgic song or memory of Christmas, and my family are talking about the past, and I know I'm fortunate that I'm blessed that I have memories of really happy Christmases with my family and really good memories with them. So kind of thinking about those certain things and talking about them helped me get out of my own head on the darker things, right? And if you have a family that doesn't have those memories with, then it's just finding some joy in something else. I'll come back to that one in a little bit, but it's important that you find something that you can put your attention on and get your mind off of the darker or negative feelings and thoughts you're having, right? So a couple other tips in here is, in order to stay present, it's important not to overindulge in drugs or alcohol, because those can numb things for a bit, numb some of the feelings and thoughts, but it usually leads to feeling worse later or even in that moment. So it's important to kind of always maintain control of yourself and try to find someone that you can be present with. I know, even just saying that now, I'm like, oh, that's not easy for a lot of people, especially if your family is the reason for your troubles or traumas. So a lot of these tips are not going to work for everybody. Every single one is not going to identify with each tip I give here, but it's just to give you some ideas, right? So that's the first one. And the next one is bringing joy to somebody else, right? This was one of my favorite ones because I always had a hard time, thinking, okay, I should be feeling this joy. I should be getting the holiday Christmas spirit right now, but I'm not. And for me, the best way to go into this is to kids. I coach kids through gymnastics, used to do basketball, used to teach dance. Kids have always been one of my favorite populations to work with, and that transfers over to my personal life. So if there's kids in the room, my nephews, my nieces, godkids, or whoever, engaging with them and trying to make them smile, to bring them joy, bring the Christmas spirit to them, that was always a way that got my mind off of things. It was a way for me to be present, like that first, slide said. And it was always a way for me to just actually sometimes start feeling something myself. I don't know, maybe it's just my nature of helping people, but I've always found a lot of fulfillment in that. So, reaching out to the kids around and like make sure they're having a great time, focusing on them and trying to create good memories for them. It can be a powerful thing. And if you're someone that, doesn't have good memories for yourself, you can put it into a binary. You could either move people towards not having good memories, or you can help them create memories that you kind of wish you had, right? So yeah, and another one of this is helping whoever the host is. So my family Christmas is always my mom. That was, she did all the decorating, she did all the cooking, she did all the everything, right? And sometimes I would just walk to the kitchen and just ask if I could help with anything. And that was another way for me to get my mind off of something I know was making her day a little easier and her day lighter. And that was just kind of being their assistant. And that gave me something to do, gave me something to get away from everybody else that's, doing all their stuff in the other room. So it was a more peaceful environment for me. And though I wasn't involved in the festivities, I was doing something else, helping somebody. That was awesome. If it's not too late, you can volunteer to help those in need. If it is too late, just support someone around you, be it in person or on the phone or on the internet. As I know not everyone likes these things, but like Reddit forums and internet groups were huge for me during my struggles, because it was one place I can go to find people that knew what I was going through and could relate to it. And it always, make sure the stream's going well over here. Yeah. It just always, sorry, I lost my train of thought on that. I shouldn't have done that to myself. I looked at something else. ADHD. Yeah, it always helped me to connect with people that understood. So I'd go on to like a Reddit forum and someone talking about their hard time, and it's sometimes just relating to them, giving a kind word, reminding them that it's just another day and they can get through it, and there's tomorrow. And just helping other people often is a good way, and connecting with other people. If we have money, then maybe it's donating or buying something for someone in need, but finding a way to help someone else, do something outside of yourself, is another way to kind of get away from those thoughts and feelings of this blue Christmas, right, in this difficult time. So next one is to take breaks. This is super important for me. I do this to this day. Every day, if I'm at work, if I'm at a social event, I take a million breaks. Like, everyone's always like, "You're going to the bathroom a lot," and then sometimes I give a little white lie and just say, "Oh, it's because I had so much water or whatever, or tea before I came here." Sometimes it's really just to breathe. Sometimes I step away and go to the bathroom just to be in the quiet, and I have some sensory issues. So when you combine the lights, the sounds, the smells, all the food, the texture of a sweater, like, it all becomes overwhelming sometimes when all those things are combining together. So it's good to kind of get a break from it all. Another one I love is taking a step outside, even though it's cold. Sometimes the cold air like just wakes me up and kind of snaps me out of some things. So if you can, if the weather permits, right now it's crazy out here. Don't go outside in the blizzard we're having, but if the weather permits it, like, step outside for a second, get some fresh air, go on a walk. If you have someone to walk with, that's a bonus. Someone else that can either walk quiet beside you or is open to talking about what you're thinking and feeling. I always worry about weighing someone down and ruining their day, but if you have someone in your life that you trust and that you can talk to and have someone to walk alongside you, it really, really helps a lot. So this is another point where, if you are someone that doesn't experience Blue Christmas and someone that is, offer these kind of things to them. Offer, like, hey, when you notice that they're kind of sitting there and you can tell they're getting pent up or going off in their mind, like, ask them if they want to go for a walk real quick. And that could either be just in silence, or you can try to open up and get them to open up about things, and let that be their choice, of course. Like, ask them if they want to talk about it, and they say no, you say, that's all right, let's just walk, and make that okay as well. The next one, it's one of my favorites. It's don't should on yourself, right? My old boss used to say this one all the time in therapy. Another phrase people use. I don't use this one as often because of my conservative background. But another phrase is don't masturbate, meaning, don't sit there and get tied up in shoulds and musts, right? So don't should on yourself, don't masturbate. When you're doing that, it gets you caught in this mindset, this negative mindset, this negative filter that you should be feeling this way, you should be doing this, you must do this, I have to be this way, I have to do that thing. And that pressure on yourself tends to compound the negative feelings and thoughts. So it's really, really important to take that burden off yourself. Take that burden of, I should be experiencing this day just like everybody else. Because you shouldn't. You should be experiencing it like you. You are where you are, who you are, and that's all that you have in that moment. So I go like a couple different things. So, leading up to Christmas, I always feel this pressure to listen to Christmas music. My students could tell you about my love or lack thereof of Christmas music. So I always tell myself it's okay that I'm listening to my normal music right now. It's a couple days before Christmas. I need to get in the spirit. I should be listening to this and enjoying that. And Mariah Carey, it doesn't do the thing for me, right? So, and that's okay. So I remove that burden off myself that I have to get into this spirit that everyone else is getting into, listen to the same songs and wear the sweaters and decorate my house. And I was a lot better off when I stopped shoulding on myself, right? And again, to relate this to what you can do if you're not someone experiencing this, is take that pressure off of people around you, right? Don't pressure people to smile if they're not happy. Don't pressure them to be more talkative than they want to be. Don't pressure them to do anything that they don't want to do, really, right? There's even the things about, making kids give people hugs. It's like, no, like they don't have to do that. If they don't want to, they don't. If they want to, sure, cool. But when you take this pressure off of ourselves and take this pressure off people to be anything they're not, really, to feel anything they're not, to fake anything that isn't real. So, I think that's pretty straightforward there. But you can make the day, make the season, whatever your norm is. I've been watching my same movies. I haven't watched a single Christmas movie. I probably will, like the night before. Some of the classics, and might watch with my family. But I'm still going to spend my day the same way I always do. If you're talking on Christmas Day, then Mariah Carey comes on. You don't have to jump in and start pretending that you love it and you're all excited about it. If you are, cool. Like, again, enjoy those moments if you can. But just be yourself, be normal. And a pro tip, if you get to be in charge of the music, be it on Christmas or leading up to it, throw on some metal Christmas. It always throws people for a loop, and it's just fun watching people freak out. It's my favorite thing. So, metal Christmas playlist, put it on. It's great. I take joy in everyone else's like shock. So, so again, have your holiday your way whenever you can. Next one is manage your expectations. So just keeping your expectations realistic. So this kind of ties into the previous one of, not shitting on yourself, but don't set an expectation for yourself to be anything other than you are on that day in this season. And don't expect others to be anything other than what they are. If you're putting that pressure on yourself and have this expectation, like, all right, I'm going to walk up, ring the doorbell, and I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to be, just faking it, masking it. It's going to make it more difficult, right? If you're putting these expectations to, it has to be the best day ever for you, and you have to give everyone else the best day ever. That's setting a high standard for yourself that isn't fair to yourself. So manage your expectations. So I'm not saying that you should have low expectations. I'm not saying that you should expect the day to go terribly or expect things to go wrong, but you should just keep it realistic with yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. And again, this goes for people that are like, let's say, you're the host. Don't have that expectation that everyone should come in and just be Christmas times 100, right? There might be people that come that are grieving, people that come that are going through a hard time. And it needs to be about just everyone being together, right? Everyone being together and enjoying being together, not about faking emotions and pretending to get along with everybody. And like, that's just toxic. And being honest, like the comment that I've heard before and heard a lot is like, not to me personally, but like I hear from clients and hear from people that I connect with, is like a parent being like, can't you just be happy today for one day? Can't just for one day just pretend that everything's all right? And it's like, no, I mean, I can, but it's not healthy, right? Like, so don't have that expectation for people. It's not fair. So next one. It's okay. This is like, sometimes I feel weird saying this because it is like almost a cliche now, that it's okay not to be okay. And I always feel weird when I say this to other people, but it's true. It's a very true statement. It's one of those cliches and classic sayings because it's so true and so needed. It's something that I have to remind myself of often. And again, whether it be the season or the Christmas day or, whatever holiday it is you celebrate, it's okay not to be okay on that day. It's okay for that day to be a normal day for you. It's okay for that day to be a sad day for you. It's okay for that day. It's okay to grieve that day. It's okay to be upset that day. It's okay to struggle that day. It's okay. And obviously we hope that, we all have good coping skills and we can manage it and actually like get to a good spot. But if you feel like crap, allow yourself to feel like crap, just as you've made it through every other 24-hour period, you can make it through this one. It's about, getting through just another minute, another moment, another hour, and then going from there. Okay? So it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to have a blue Christmas. It's okay to not feel what everyone else is feeling and experiencing. There's going to be time for that in your future. There's going to be time for that the next day, the days after that, when everything goes back to normal. So it's okay to not to be okay and just make it through the day. That rhymed, and I hate rhyming on accident. But okay, that's my own issues to deal with. I guess the last point on that is that mental health, grief, loneliness, loss, they don't care about Christmas. I have friends who recently lost loved ones. I have friends who have loved ones in the hospital right now, and it would just be, I think, I know most people, I feel like most people wouldn't be this way, but I think there are people that would expect them to find the silver lining. It's Christmas, like, it's just, yeah. Mental health doesn't care what day it is, what season it is. So we shouldn't change our expectations of our humanity on those days, right? We're just as human on Christmas as we are on Halloween, as we are on a normal work Monday. So we need the same things. So give yourself what you need, take care of yourself, and go from there. That's all we can do sometimes. The next one is one of my favorites. And this goes two routes. One is just getting through a moment, and one is for picturing a better future for yourself. So one's very present, one's about the future, but the same thing applies. So I think it's a book, but The 3 Keys to Happiness is normally called. I typically like to call it the 3 keys to fulfillment are 3 keys to making it through the day or making it through the week. But it's about something to do, having something to do, something to look forward to, and something or someone to love. And typically, if someone has those 3 things, they can make it through just about anything that's happening. When it's this time of year, it can be hard for some people because they're thrown off their norm. They don't have school, they don't have work, they don't have just their normal things, right? Like, I'm very good at my work week because it's so routine. It's the same thing every week. That's easy. Then as soon as I have all this time off, it's harder, right? It's harder to get out of bed. It's harder to have a normal eating schedule, normal sleeping schedule. A lot of you guys experienced this with the pandemic, right? When you all of a sudden couldn't do your norm. Just remember how much that just shifted everything for you, right? And in order to get through the pandemic, it took finding something to do, something and someone to love, and having something to look forward to. And that's kind of how a lot of us that got through it, at least in a healthy way, got through the days, was having those 3 things. So in this time of year, be it for planning for Christmas Day or just planning through making it through the days leading up to it or days after it, it's important that you plan something for yourself. Plan your breaks, plan something that you like to do on that day, plan a walk, plan a talk with somebody. Having someone to look forward to could be like, as much as like, if it was a bad year for me, I wasn't looking forward to being around everybody, but I was looking forward to seeing my nieces and nephews open up the gifts I got them, right? Like, there's like little things like that. It's like, all right, there's something I can hold on to that's going to be good about this day. Maybe the thing you're looking forward to is leaving the party, getting there, doing what you got to do, and getting out. Have something to look forward to. It's a powerful thing. And the last part is finding someone to love. It can be something to love, something that you can pour energy and passion and your heart into. But often it's someone to love. And maybe, if you have a difficult family, there isn't that person that you can pour into. So that can look like a friend, texting a friend, calling a friend, FaceTime, seeing them in person for a little bit, but someone that you can, again, pour positive love into on that day or in that right now, whatever, and holding on to that. And again, in some of my more difficult times where I didn't feel I could reach out to somebody, for instance, or couldn't express love the way like I think everyone would want it, or I thought how I would love would be wrong, whatever. It was going online. It was, again, going on someone like Reddit and going in a discussion group and like making a post about just how much I'm thinking about everyone else, or, sharing something like this to like, hey, here's how you can get through today, or we're going to get through this day together, right? And just showing love to someone else makes the day better, makes it okay. So having something to do, something to look forward to, and something or someone to love that can get you through a day and get you through a week, get you through a month, get you through a lifetime. And I know there were times in my life where that's all I had, was finding something to do just for that day. So those are the 3 keys to pressing on. Next tip is don't compare. There's a quote I like that says, comparison is the thief of joy. And what that means is that when you are comparing your life to someone else's, you're usually comparing to someone that has more or quote unquote better than us, right? So it always means we have too little. We don't have enough. We're not enough. And if we find ourselves caught up in that, it kind of goes back to that whole, shoulds and musts, where we get this idea in our head of what things should be, and we start comparing ourselves to something else that maybe isn't even realistic, right? And it goes back to needing to accept where you are mentally, physically, emotionally, and letting that be okay, letting that be enough. And that's really hard when there's, negative thoughts, dark feelings, negative feelings. But that's all you can do. And if you sit there and compare yourself to everyone else around you, you're almost always going to lose that one, right? So it's important not to compare, accept where you're at, and do what you can to, get out of that and do, to start feeling better. Not saying it's like, today sucks, I'm just going to sit here and let it suck. Like, that's not what I'm saying, but don't beat yourself up for not feeling and being like everybody else, right? The comparison is a thief of joy. So when I find myself doing that, I have to do a technique called thought stopping, where I just like, okay, stop. Like, I literally say stop out loud if I'm by myself, or just think stop. And I have to interrupt those thoughts and like take a break and just take a breath and just check with myself, see where I'm at, and just go from there, right? So don't compare. The next one is one of the hardest ones, but a very important one. And again, this goes for this season. It goes for the day, for any of the holiday happenings. It's being able to say no. I remember with the pandemic, seeing people talk about how grateful they were that they didn't have to go see family during some of the holidays, that they didn't have to just do the normal. They realized that they were much happier that year. And I guess as sad as that can sound to some people, that they felt better when they weren't doing the normal Christmas. It's the truth for some of us. And because those people realized how much better they felt, they planned differently for their next holidays, right? So instead of like, I'm going to see my family on Christmas, I'm going to go take myself on a vacation on Christmas, right? Those kind of things. And it's okay to say no to stuff. If you are, not feeling great, and being around your family is going to make it worse, it's a hard thing to start this process of, and I know people will judge it, and there is potential to hurt relationships. So of course you have to balance out the pros and cons of all this, but you might be better off doing Christmas with a friend, or with multiple friends, or having a group thing. Maybe your Christmas celebration is, a couple nights before or a couple nights after with friends, and you don't do much on the day of. You're allowed to choose what is best for you. And that took me a very long time to get to that spot. Still, sometimes I struggle with that. But it's important to do what you need during this time of year. Again, we're not going on the shoulds or the musts. It's going with what you need, and letting that be the final say. At the same time, you have to be careful that you're not like isolating yourself in a negative way, obviously. Like, I know that there was one year where I did have a holiday. It might have been Thanksgiving or Christmas, I can't remember, but I was home alone for that day, and that was not a good day. It was hard not to compare, hard not to think about what I should be doing or what everyone else is doing, or all these things. So like, and then there's also been a holiday, I think it was last year, that couldn't go see my family for. I was by myself, and I made it a special day for myself. I just bought myself, food that I wouldn't normally splurge on, and I made it something special. So it was like a really cool time, and I didn't have any burnout, right? Because what happens is, a lot of times for us, that going through the holiday with our family and going through all the hubbub of the holidays, it leaves us burnt out. Like, I know at my worst, it can take me up to 3 days to recover. If I get overwhelmed and like get to the point where it's like just too much, it feels like a hangover, and it could take like a couple days to get through that and recover from it. So it's better for me to step back. And again, saying no could mean you show up for a little bit and you leave. It could be not going at all. It could be during the day saying no to stuff you don't want to do. Everyone's like, oh, let's go caroling. And you're like, nope. And again, this goes back to what other people that aren't experiencing Blue Christmas can do for those that are, is allowing people to say no, giving people options, not having those expectations that they should and have to do this. It's allowing people to, again, be where they are. Let them say no to stuff. So if there's something that let me go with the different direction here. Because one of the things that a lot of people worry about in general, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, and other difficulties, you worry about bringing the mood down, killing the vibe for everybody else. And that's a big reason why people will fake it and will just go with the flow of things, even if it is negatively impacting them. They don't want to kill the mood for everybody else. And it's hard. It's hard because if you have like a family member that's going to come down on you pretty hard for not participating, that can make things seem even worse. So again, you have to kind of weigh things for yourself based on your situation, but sometimes you have to teach your loved ones what you need, and you have to get them used to it. And you have to, something I have to go over with clients all the time is setting those boundaries. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it goes smoothly, sometimes it gets very hard and it hurts relationships. But it's important to have those boundaries set. And if you have a close family, you can tell them ahead of time, like, hey, like, this is how I'm feeling, and I might need to leave early, or I'm not going to want to do certain things. And if they're a supportive family, then they'll be, that's okay, we just want you here. If you don't have that kind of family and it's one that's going to give you a hard time for saying no, that's a whole nother video. But I always encourage people to do what's best for them, do what's best for people that care about them and really love them. Someone that really cares about you and loves you is going to allow you to be you and let that be okay. So you might have to turn down some invites this holiday season. You might have to just say no to things just for your own well-being. So do what's best for you and say no if you need to. And for other family members, allow us to say no if we need to as well. And then the last tip, and I think one of the most important ones, is talk to someone that gets it. And I shouldn't say gets it in the sense of they know exactly what you're going through or they've experienced it themselves, but someone that respects it, someone that you can trust and understand with your feelings and thoughts. Someone that can understand your feelings and thoughts a little bit. If they can't directly connect with it and relate to it, it really helps to have someone that you can be open with and share with. And I know not all of us have that, which makes this tip hard, because I know that Christmas isn't the same for a lot of us, and the Blue Christmas is a real thing where it feels very lonely. It's a very lonely thing. And it gets difficult to, again, like, it's the whole point of this video is, like, it gets so difficult to like and enjoy this time of year. You're having a Blue Christmas. But I know for a fact from experience that sharing the blue with someone else helps so much. It eases that weight and eases that burden. So having someone ideally there at the Christmas party, whatever it is, that you can connect with and talk to openly is huge. If you don't have that, or you're alone for Christmas, it's reaching out to somebody, again, be it a friend, a family member, or just someone online. Like, you can find a lot of stuff online about Blue Christmas. You can find a lot of people that are going through the same thing, and it really does help to connect. It really helps to connect, and it's a lot easier to carry a weight when it's shared, And as much as we worry that we're gonna weigh it down more and weigh people down more, it actually alleviates a lot of things, because now we're sharing the burden. So reach out to people, reach out to somebody. And again, for those that are having the Christmas they dream of, that's, it's white and it's red and it's green and it's gold and it's cheery and holiday Christmas spirits around. Look out for that person that is going through a hard time, and don't reach out to them trying to necessarily bring cheer and joy to them. Bring love and connection to them. That's more powerful, so you don't have to call someone going through a hard time and try to make them happy or make them find some silver lining to their day. It's that connection. And, we can say that's what Christmas is about, right? The connection. Obviously, if you are a Christian, then it's about Jesus, and it's about, he's the reason for the season. And if, you can share that, that's what you need to and what you want to, but don't make it about you and what you think you need or what they need. Just give someone else love and connection, and that goes a long ways. That's what changes lives for people. So if you're not someone going through a blue Christmas, reach out to somebody this Christmas and this season in general. New Year's too can be difficult because some of us didn't have the greatest of years to reflect on, and this whole holiday season is nuts when you're having a blue one. So if you're going through it, look back at these tips and find the ones that helped you and work for you. I hope some of these do help. If you don't feel you have anyone to reach out to, feel free to reach out to me. Find me on social media and send me a message. Someone I know well, like, let's FaceTime, let's talk. Someone I don't know well, send me a message and we'll go from there. I'm happy to chat. I know what it's like to go through a blue Christmas alone. I know what it's like to have these darker feelings alone, and I'd rather you share that and rather be there with you through that than have you go through that by yourself too. So feel free to reach out to me. And again, for those that are having a great time, be mindful of other people's needs and feelings. Allow them to be who they are and where they are. Just support them, give them connection, give them love. That's all. Like, so many things are fixed by that. And again, outside of the religious reasons for the season, that's what it should be about. It's just that connection and love, not about the presents and the trees and the decorations and participating in the traditions and all that. It's about people coming together, and that's what it should be. That's all it should be. So, but yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Why am I forgetting the other one? I feel terrible, like a terrible person. In my head, I was like, don't mention any other holidays because you'll forget one. And here I go. Wow, that's embarrassing. What is all the other holidays? Oh no. Wow, Kwanzaa. There we go. Oh my gosh, doesn't matter. But I think Kwanzaa doesn't matter. I'm saying it doesn't matter that I forgot something. Oh my gosh, I'm digging myself in a hole. I should probably end this stream now. Whatever. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. If you're going through it, I'm gonna hang out a little bit here. So feel free to jump into the chat. If you're here and have any questions, just want to connect, just want to say happy holidays. Love if you typed it in there. Appreciate you checking this out. So yeah, that ends the normal part of the stream, and I'll keep this up and hope to catch you guys soon. I'll see you in the next video. I'll put an announcement out soon what the next one's going to be. Oh, one other thing. I do want to give a quick shout out to some people that have been supporting me all this time. So I hate to make this like an advertisement for myself, but I do want to be, I'm just very grateful. So thankful to Elizabeth, Beth, and Megan. They support me on Patreon, and that means so much to me. It's, even when I wasn't putting out content, even when I wasn't creating things for everyone to see, I was just kind of doing a lot of work behind the scenes. They were supporting me through that. And just, part of me, the negative part of my brain is like, oh, they just forgot about it. But the positive part of me believes that what they said when they started it was that they believe in what I'm doing and to support me and believe in me and my goals and plans. And it's really cool to start actually putting out content for people. And I'm very grateful that I always had that push with them. I, get the emails every month reminding me to send them messages and updates, and it always motivated me to keep going. So they're really the reason that this stream is happening. Any of these streams are happening. So thank you again, Elizabeth, Beth, and Megan, for your support with all this stuff. if you would like to support me as well, there's links in the bio, description, whatever, for leaving a donation or leaving or just being a monthly supporter. It really does mean a lot. It really does help a lot. You know, all the streaming gear and camera gear and time spent on this stuff it adds up. And you know, I would do it all for free, but you know, it always helps me to make more and more readily if I have that support. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. And oh, Ellen, happy holidays. Yay. Hope all is well with you. I've been seeing some of the stuff you've been doing. It's awesome. Yay. I love getting comments. Make me smile. Yeah, I think more important than giving me your money, give me just comments. That's the only present I need. No. Yeah. So again, thanks for watching. This is the regular part of the video is done, but I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit. So feel free to chime in if you got something to say. I just want to say hello. Get some music back on here. Whoa, not what I wanted. There we go. Get some background music. But let's check the things. Let's see who's out there. There we go. This is the fun part of streaming where you're not sure who or if anyone is watching, but I love doing this stuff. I love just making content and, you know, hopefully helping people, but just technology. It's awesome. And I'll be streaming whether or not anyone watches it live. They just watch recordings of it later. It's cool. And whoop, knocking over my camera. I kept it under an hour, so I'm proud of myself. Usually I talk for way too long. I had one stream that was 2 hours long, I think. 2.5. It was a long one. I didn't even realize it. I was just talking the whole time and didn't even notice that it was that long. Felt bad about later. But yeah, I'll start making videos that are shorter like this. And then ones even shorter that are edited down to 10-15 minutes. That way the attention span of the youngins can get through it. I think us adults though are getting there too, where our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, and it's hard to sit down for something for an extended amount of time. But all right. Well, I think that might be it. Got a few viewers on the things, but everyone's being silent, which is all right. Not everyone wants to comment and talk on this stuff. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, I'll be around next week. I'm gonna try to put at least one live stream out a week, and in the new year start to do 1 or 2 live streams plus a pre-recorded video as well. So tune in, subscribe if you haven't. Like my page on Facebook. That's where I give a lot of updates. Same on Instagram. So look forward to doing this with you guys more often. So you take care. Happy holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and others that I'm not aware of. Whatever it is you're celebrating, hope it's well, and I hope you find love and connection during it. Again, if you don't, reach out and we'll connect. All right. So Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in.